Namaste. This is Satish Kota on Satish Speaks on Global Trade and Geopolitics, powered by Navatize, an international trade and engagement platform. So friends, today's most exciting news. Donald Trump becomes the 47th President of United States of America. So with him being at the global leader, what are the opportunities that we are going to look at? I'm not going to talk about what are the things everybody is going to talk about. Every channel, every YouTube channel, every TV channel, every media, everybody is going to talk about this today, right? But I'm not going to talk about this situation on all the geopolitics or the politics of US. But let me take you through few things related to how it is going to change the global trade. Okay, now let's understand. Anything in geopolitics changes the global trade, right? So with now Trump at the helm of as the president of the United States of America, what are the things that he is going to change? Now first, I'm going to talk about wars, the war situation. Trump is not a person who is in line with wars. So he's always said, right, death is something irrespective of whichever country, whichever person it is not a good thing as such. So if we look at the current two major wars that's happening, one is in Ukraine and another is the Israel-Gaza. First, let's understand what may happen with Ukraine. Now, if you look at his speeches in the past, he's always said that he's going to put an end to that war, right? So what is going to happen? Now, when we look at any kind of a war, it is who are the ones who are benefited out of it, right? It is mostly the defense contractors and those kind of people who are going to get benefited. But with just a small set of people who's getting benefited, the rest of the world is getting affected. Now, if you see, for an example, the cost of everything has grown in the world trade. Now, earlier, the expectation is that the cost of the products, if we say on the cost of the shipping of those products from one country to another country, generally is supposed to be between 10 to 15% or maximum 20%. But what happened with these war situations? The cost grew by almost more than 50-55%, as I mean, especially in some cases, it's even touched 60% of this. So if at all you're talking about a $10,000 cost of a product, if you are supposed to pay $6,000 as a shipping cost, then where is the sale is going to happen? Where the product shipping is going to happen, right? So it's always has been affecting that. So especially the Red Sea crisis, when Hamas and the Houthis have been attacking ships on the Red Sea, at the Bab el Mandeb, right? So what has happened? Now everybody is trying to move towards Durban, and then you have to go to US or Europe or anywhere. You have to go to South Africa through the channel of Madagascar, and then through that you go into the Europe and the US. That's actually increasing the cost, it's increasing the time, it's also increasing a lot of other problems. So putting an end to these wars is going to stabilize the global market. So which means the costs are going to come down. So that is one of the big things that may happen if Trump is now being the president of USA. He may put an end or at least reduce the activities that's happening in terms of wars and such. Now, for example, if you also take up until last week, Zelensky, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has always been talking about give us this kind of weapons, give us that kind of weapons, long range missiles and all. Now, what has he come down to? Now, as of today, he's now started talking for a peaceful resolution of the activity. He really understands. So basically, Trump understands that wars are not a solution for everything. So he may end up bringing down the impact of these two wars in these two regions and then try to stabilize the global trade. So this is one good thing that may that affects everybody in the world, right? So poorer countries, they are unable, the African countries are unable to afford a good amount of food because the cost of food is itself is very high. First of all, the African markets have not been able to purchase at good prices. And even after this situation is due to the wars, if the cost goes skyrocket, then what is the opportunity that they have? So my humble thought is that this, because of Trump, now there is going to happen, this stability is going to come in the global trade as well. One thing. Second thing, let's look at NATO. Right? What did Trump say? Trump said, if I come to the power, I will ask or force NATO to invest into defense. Now, as of today, the NATO countries, most of them have been always depending upon the US military spending and to give them weapons, give them support, give them everything on that. Right now, with Trump making that statement that NATO has to be on their own or they have to spend on their own, which means the defense budgets of a lot of countries are going to increase, which means they have to spend a lot. Now, opportunities for defense companies, I won't say just only in India, in every part of the world, that you can now look at an opportunity that many countries are going to import or invest into defense spending. Now, what will happen because of that? When they are unable to, they are going to put money on the defense activities, they will have to reduce spending on some other activities, which means their imports will increase. Right? So the opportunities now are for the other countries to start looking at Europe as a market opportunity in order to sell your products, whether it is food products, agricultural kind of products, textile products, anything and everything. You see, there's a lot of opportunities now that's going to come into the Europe because NATO is going to put some amount of the money that they have into the defense activities, which means their spending on other areas will be reduced. But that may also affect now the climate spending as well, ESG and SDG goals as well. So we'll have to look at that as so from that perspective, what could affect on the global climate change. Because if we see Biden was more pro climate change, Trump may not be more pro climate change activities, and he has always been pushing on the fossil fuels, right? So we would like to look at that as an opportunity and an engagement, and what Trump may require for getting the what will happen to the climate related activities in the next 4 years. So there is going to be a slowdown in that activity, which means the 2030 targets, 2050 targets may get reduced at some levels. Okay. Then this was from the European perspective. Now let's look at from the Asian perspective. First is the East Asian perspective, right? Trump has always supported Taiwan. He has supported Japanese on that. So a lot of concentration may happen in that particular region now. And since China being bullish on the South China Sea, affecting the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and those kind of things, especially the Party Islands. Now a lot of concentration may occur in that part, which means a lot of opportunities. So basically things will change a little bit in the Asian region. The geopolitics may route from the European region to a little bit of the Asian region. So effectively the Quad will become more stronger, and activities will, there will be a lot of activities that will happen in this particular region. So we may also have to look at what is it that's going to happen, and what are the opportunities that's available from the trade perspective in this particular region as well. Okay, then this is one area. Then let's look at from the India perspective. What is it in for India? Now, if you look at it, if Trump is a businessman. He is a strong negotiator and a businessman. He will always want things to happen his way, right? As a businessman, he looks at opportunities, he looks at a variety of things. And since he's always been talking about MAGA, make America great again, so he may want to shift some of the manufacturing from China to America, right? Now, if that happens, then what is it for the rest of the world, right? Now, look at from the India's perspective, now everything cannot be pulled back into America. Let's face it, their labor costs are higher, their activities are higher. They may automate a few amount of things, they may bring in technology into a lot of things and build some of the business in that space. But everything is not really happening and it will not happen there. So in that kind of a scenario, there are opportunities for the manufacturing, some of the manufacturing or lean manufacturing areas to come to India. And everything depends upon what is India's and US relationships in that space, and try to look at what are the opportunities that is available in that kind of scenario. So for that scenario, what I would like to do is I would like to spend some more time on the opportunities between India and USA, right? So let me share my screen and try to help you understand. I will take you to my our platform Navatize, where opportunities you can see all the stats and analytics available between India, in between any part of the country and any part of the world. So for today's discussion, I'm going to talk about what is the USA imports and how much of it is exported from India. Okay. Now, if we look at the statistics, USA's imports from India is about USA imports about $3 trillion worth of products from the world, out of which India exports about $87 billion. That's about 2.75% of their imports are from India. So 2.75 is a very small number. I assume the best number should be somewhere between 6 to 7%. So we do have opportunity to start exporting between India and US. So now let's look at what are the top areas, top sectors where India is exporting to the USA. The first one is about natural and cultured pearls, precious semiconductor metal. About $12 billion of exports are happening. Then electrical machinery, equipments on those kind of things like sound recorders on those kind of sectors. That sector is again another $12 billion. Pharmaceutical products is about $10 billion. So $10 billion of our medicines are going to USA. Then we have machinery and mechanical appliances, which is about $6 billion. Mineral fuels, mineral oils and products of distillation. So those things are about $5 billion. That is the processed oil, right? The crude oil, we don't manufacture oil, isn't it? We import the oil, we process it, and then we export the refined oils and the petroleum products or diesel products or those kind of. Then organic chemicals is about $3 billion, $3.8 billion. Textiles about $2.9 billion. Iron and steel articles is about $2.8 billion. Vehicles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, cars, those are about $2.7 billion. Apparel and clothing is about $2.5 billion. And again, not knitted, knitted both put together is about $4.6 billion asset. Then we have seafoods. Seafoods is about $2 billion. And furniture, wooden, those kind of spaces is about $1.4 billion. These are the sector's perspective. So we have opportunities that we can always work on those spaces, and we can also increase those spaces. If you also look at some of these areas, if you see what is the market share of India, in some of the spaces, our market share is 1%, 1.5%, 0.7%. Even though we export about $2 billion, our still market share is 0.71%. Let's look at what we can increase between India and USA. Again, furniture space also, we are exporting about 2%. So their $69 billion is their import, whereas India exports only $1.4 billion. We do have opportunities in those space. We can always look at improving that scenario. Now, leaving the sectors, let's move on to the product level. Okay, let's look at what are the top products that are getting exported from India to US. At the product level, when we said pharma industry, right? So pharma industry, we are talking about in the pharma industry about $10 billion of actually it's about $11 billion of exports are happening on the pharma industry. But in the pharma industry, the medicaments, the medicines and all, those are comprises of about $9 billion. So out of $11 billion, $9 billion are the medicines. So that is the opportunity. So India manufactures a lot of medicines, pills and those kind of things for USA. Then we have in the precious industry, precious material, right? Our precious metals, $12 billion, which comes under the natural this sector. $12 billion is the total import, out of which diamonds itself is about $7 billion. So rest of them comes under $5 billion. Then telephone sets, smartphones. India's exports of smartphones. Okay, so we are exporting about $5 million of smartphones. So though the sector says electrical machinery, electronic machinery, out of which the smartphones and all are about $5 billion worth of smartphones is being exported to US. Then petroleum oils, bituminous oil, that's about $3 billion. Jewelry, petroleum, the precious jewelry, except silver, so the gold jewelry, all those things, that's about $2.5 billion. So if you see diamonds plus jewelry, that itself is about 7 plus 2, that is $9.5 billion. Okay. Then we have electrical operators, so semiconductor devices, photovoltaic cells, all those things. So panels, effectively, we look at solar panels and those kind of things. About $2 billion worth of opportunities that are there. Then seafood, out of seafood, we are talking about prawns and shrimps. About $2 billion worth of exports is happening per weekend. Again, we have communication apparatus is about 1.2 billion. Again, we are coming back to the diamond stones related, not the diamond stuff, but it's about $1.1 billion. Kitchen and leading, those kind of things is about $905 million. See, so now what will happen? Other than these industries, India can also manufacture a variety of opportunities between India and USA. Okay, so this all depends upon what we can take up from China and what is that we can export, use that as an opportunity to do make in India, so for USA and rest of the world. Okay, so there are opportunities that we can look at, but everything depends upon the equation between Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So that is something that we could look at from this understanding of this activity. Okay, so this is one of the things that we did. And now we all understand that Trump has the support from the Indian diaspora as well, right? It's not just the white who voted for him. It was the Hispanics, it was the Indian diaspora, it was a variety of people who voted for him, right? So Indian diaspora may get various opportunities with this, because Indian always till date has been only in the business point of view, but now the opportunities also lie in taking part in a variety of the governmental activities and all. So one of the opportunities we should also look forward is some position for Vivekramaswamy, who has always been he has always been supporting him. He's always talked about him, even though he was running for the GOP, he still supported Trump a lot. So we should wait and watch and see what is it he's going to take up and work on this activity. So this is just the beginning. Over a period of time, once we take up charge, once he starts doing some of the other activities, we'll see what is going to happen. But my best bet is that Donald Trump is going to change the global landscape. He is going to change the geopolitics with further on, and we hope it's all for the good. We always should see for the global trade to increase than the global wars to be increased, right? So that's how opportunities do happen. It's an opportunity for India to engage with USA now. More in and more out, we should generate opportunities for Indian businesses to explore USA as a market, to explore other parts of the world as a market, and we should, at the end of the day, we should also be prepared for everything that comes in our way and take the best benefit out of it. With that, I'm going to do some more videos on this part, but until further on, this is Satish Kota signing off. For you, if you want to know more about what opportunities lies between India and USA for your product, for your activities, or any other things, you can always depend upon Navatize platform and register. Login is free, registration is free, you don't have to pay anything. Register, you get access to some amount of data for your products and all. You can always analyze some of the things, but you can always, if you like it, you can also subscribe to our platform. Okay, with that, this is Satish Kota. Namaste.